for me, I want to run a studio specifically on the factor of chance. And it is something that fascinates me for some years in my own work as being something opposed to reason or logic or ratio which is very present in architecture, I think. Because architecture, you always have to explain why it is what it is. That does not, I'm talking about architecture like in a broad sense. It can be urban design, it can be interior. I think in all these applied fields of architecture, it is about a kind of reasoning or justification why it is. And I think with working on chance, it is undermining in a way that position or bringing something else. And then we will be much more focused on like imagination or discovery or invention or things that have the possibility to have multiple interpretations. Yeah, for me, the visual arts is important inspiration also in my own practice, and I want to bring it into the studio as well. And it is because I believe not so much in an interdisciplinary approach, but I believe that this other fields or the visual arts can have can help to broaden the perspective on interior architecture. I think Design for the Real World is first of all, it tells something about that we focus on the practice. So we are not about a kind of metaphysical science, or we're not about only theory. We really want to have a practice which is a kind of hands-on, which comes with designs, which is very visually present, and the other thing is that Design for the Real World means that we have a look. We have a look outside. We don't isolate ourselves in a room, in a kind of a dark room, and only think of what comes out of our own imagination. But an important part is that we look outside and we perceive what is actually happening in the real world, and try to engage or try to have a dialogue with it. Of course, we are a master of interior architecture, and when we were thinking about what the study would be about, we had talks about that interior is like a word which more or less only focuses on the space itself, in a way, and we wanted to emphasize a bit more our attitude towards doing this study. And insight seemed to be to go a lot further. It's not only like it's about talking about a physical insight, like could be the same as interior, but it's also a kind of mental thing. So we go inside things, like mentally and physically. And I think that's what's really explaining our approach. It's like what Georges Perec writes, that if you want to study, you zoom in and in and in and in to really try to get a kind of fundamental idea about